So, so first of all, let me show you the arrangement of today's session. So basically, it consists of 4 different sessions. So I will first I will teach how I managed to get student involvement in my classes, and then how I did collaborative teaching. So that is another thing that I would like to share in this Sri Lankan context, of course. Then I will show you how to use breakout rooms, and also I will show you how to use annotations and whiteboards and some required hardware in order to get things done. So all this session, the whole idea is that I will try to give you how to do the settings and whatever the things that you could do by your own. Okay. So I'm pretty sure you all have seen this one. This is a kind of well-known thing from Graham Greaves' book. So what you see here is the ideal situation in this graph, the attention. So when you are delivering some lectures to your students, so basically this is how attention works. So x-axis is time and y-axis is the attention, right? So this is the ideal case that we would like. So attention remains the same throughout the session. So if it is like 1 hour lecture, we would like to have that. But unfortunately, this is not the case in real life. In real life, the case is like this. So after about 15 minutes, your attention drops drastically. So then it goes to very low level. So that is the main issue that we have always with our classes. So we need to get them, make them active learners, but what you see is mostly passive ones. So then this one is basically what we know. So when you have a lesson break, if you change your activity, your attention boosted. So that is the idea. And also, this is the recommended way. So every 20 minutes, you need to have a lesson break. So this is when you have 2 lesson breaks, so your attention will go down, but with the lesson break, you can kick this up. Okay, there is a question coming in the chat window. Yes, I will share my PDF file for sure. Right. So, so the 20 minutes is kind of interesting now. So if you look at the certain universities, so they put a lot of restrictions on the file uploading limits and everything. So when you break your sessions for every 20 minutes, your file size could be very small, so roughly less than about 50 MB. So if you are doing the recording, so that is also another interesting overlapping with the rules that most of the universities has imposed on us. So, this is some activity that I want you to do that. So if you look at the bottom bar in your computer, you will see this kind of toolbar, right? So in this toolbar, could you please kindly see whether you can see a button called reactions? And if you click it, do you see some icons like green ones, red ones, blue and gray ones?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you see those icons, so can you click this green up arrow? So that says yes. So this check mark. I'll give you a bit of time for you to. So there are like a little bit of fussy period because Zoom, they're upgrading their systems slightly. So therefore, if you don't see this reaction button, there is another option depending on the version. You can click this participant button, and then on your right, you will see this icon. Right? So somehow you should be able to see this icon. So can you just find this icon and click this here? So only 32 participants, 36 has done that. So I would like if everybody could do it. of you have raised hand. I guess it is just using the tool, right? So yeah, adding numbers. So anyone else need a little bit of time? So I will stay a few seconds so others to discover where this is. Right. So let me share what I'm seeing from my side in Zoom windows. So this, can you all see my Zoom window now?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you. So basically, so I have, I'm seeing both windows now. When I look at down here, you can see 62 says yes, right? Please increase the volume. So okay, I'm not sure whether, let me see. I guess automatic will do that. So I will come closer to the computer so that you will hear a little bit louder, right? So I can see like some of, most of you have like says raise your hands. And then here you can see those who say yes, and some of you have not responded. And bottom, I can see 60 of you says yes, and one says go faster. And the raise hand, that will not really count in this counting, right? So the raise hand is basically just like you raise your hand in the class. So if you don't mind, everyone, those who put raise hand, change that to yes. Yeah, our numbers are increasing, but there are a few more. Right, thank you. So, so I'll satisfy with the number. So I'll remove this one. Right. Thank you. There is one comment, I click it, but nothing happened. So usually when you click it, you don't see that, but it says like, for my side, I'm getting counts, right? So this is exactly what, so I'm going to clear the values now. So I will ask one question from you. So this is very well known, the dress, right? So there are like a lot of research papers have been written on this dress. So I'll ask this question: what color is it? So if you see white and gold, click yes button. If you see black and blue, click no button. Please do it now. Right. So, so when I look at the numbers, so as of now, there are about 69 says yes and 10 says no. So in fact, I did the same at the University of Colombo. So there actually I received like, there was about, as I remember, 40 responses. Out of 40, 21 was yes and it was no. So this is basically, it's based on your color perception. There's no right or wrong regarding this one. You can read about this one on Wikipedia. So this was like a wedding dress prepared for a mother for her daughter's wedding, and then there was the issue with the color perception. So colors are not really real things, so it's our perception, right? Okay, anyway, moving forward. Okay, thank you very much. So I have received 769 and 79 answers. Responses from you. So this is very usual, even if you do a class, with your students, not everybody will respond to you. Now here we have 174, out of which I'm receiving only responses from roughly about 75 now. There will be little different issues why the responses are not coming. One is it's kind of tricky to find this one. So you need to have a little bit of support for them, but especially with the kids, they very easily find. Our students, they're pretty fast and smart, so they can easily find it when you just give the instruction. They can easily get them and do it. And those who studied in US, you know that it's always use clickers, right? So the clickers just giving the feedback to the teacher how to get things done. So this is one way of getting your class involved in, because we know in our context, especially in Sri Lankan context, if you ask a question, even if it is a face-to-face class, very few students come and answer, okay, this is the answer, and because it's in our blood basically, so we don't usually answer questions in classes. But if you do that, this is just a clicking, so they usually do it. And also the other thing is that you have the chat window, which you can always monitor. So if you have questions like this, it's always good to post it in this way by giving them options so that they will select. Now, if you look at this carefully, there are like several options available. So you have yes, no, and there are like two more buttons, go fast and go slow. So if you want to add some more things to your list, you can add easily, right? So I have no idea. So that is also a good way to get students involved in that, because it's also all right if they provide that answer. That means they are responding to your inquiries. So that is something good, that they are paying attention, right? So therefore, usually in my classes, so if I have like 3 answers, I'm adding the 4th answer, I have no idea. So that is also acceptable answer. And then they will start providing me with the answers. Okay? So now, rather using this kind of mechanism, if I ask what color is it directly, so usually it's kind of difficult to quantify things. So that is why we always need to ask straight questions if you want to use this non-verbal feedbacks from the students. So if you ask directly what color is it, so in the chat window, they will start telling different answers. So maybe brown and white, or peach and white, or beige and white, and different colors they will start saying. So that when you have like a few answers, so you limit to your options so that they will pick one of them. So that is one of the tricks that I have done. So this is what you see. So I have shown you live. So this was like a few weeks ago, one of my classes. So these are like answers for one question, right? So this is how you see it from your end. So there are a few other options also available. So by clicking this one, you can even clear all your responses. So that is what I used to do. Even in this session, I'm clearing things. So as soon as my question is over. Right. Okay. So some other question. So now what I want you to do is, I want you to chat window and give me the answer, right? So what you need to do is simply bring your middle finger and pointer close by, so that you can see there is a kind of slit in between, and take a look at some bright area, maybe your monitor or your window, and let us know what do you see. Do you see any difference when you see through this one? Do you see any difference? If you see anything, you can send me the message. So you can send it as even a private message so that others will not see. Some says they'll see a difference. So can you explain what the difference is? It's brighter, okay? Shining. It looks larger. and clear. It's a difference in color, okay? Larger. Blurred. A line. No slit at all. Okay. So see that now you all engage with me, right? So you are giving different answers. So this is what you could do even in your class. In fact, I will give you a hint. So this is from one of my classes. I just slide because it's easier experiment for you to do that. When you look at through the slit, if you bring it a little closer to eye by maybe 1 inch or 1.5 inch close to the eye, you will see there are like vertical gray lines. Do you see them? Yes or no?
Yes, we see.
You can click yes and no. This you see like vertical gray lines. Yeah. So, okay, congratulations. So that is your first diffractometer. So it's a with physics. It's a very basic phenomena. So when you look at to this one, you will see like vertical fringes. That is not an issue with your eye, right? So it's a kind of experiment that you can do. So these are the activities usually what I do in order to get their involvement. So and also when you ask the very open-ended question like this, you see like everybody starts answering the question, and then you can make it little bit specific so that they will see, oh, okay, there are fringes, so I can see that. Yeah, something like that, right? So that is kind of method that I used to involve in the class, and believe me, so it's not like the other classes when they ask to type something or click these buttons, their responses are like pretty large compared to the other situations, because they feel very comfortable just typing things rather than answering something to the class. Right. So let's see how do you get this one. So when you host a session, it's not in most of the cases it's not that you are getting this default. So this is the logging screen. I will share the slides with you. So this is the typical login screen from Learn to our Zoom system. And when you sign in here, so you can configure your account in different mechanism when you sign in, right? So once you sign in, there are a few settings that you need to tweak. So that on your left panel, you can go to settings, and then under meeting, there are like several options, basic and advanced. So if you click in meeting, so those are the settings that you can change in meetings. So there, if you look for non-verbal feedback, so this is what you get. So this non-verbal feedback, the one that you need to use. This is by default not enable, you need to enable it. And also there is another one called meeting reactions. My recommendation is to like disable that, because meeting reactions are slightly different from non-verbal feedback. So meeting reactions are like clap and party, tada, and different things like that. But when you enable meeting reactions is like once you click it, it appears for a while, something like thumbs up for 15 seconds or 20 seconds, and that will disappear. So that so for your teaching class, most probably you don't need that. So in my personal opinion, this is what I do. I disable meeting reactions, but I enable non-verbal feedback, so that I'm getting this yes, no, go slower, go fast, the button, so that I can interact with the class, right? So these are the things what you are getting when you enable this. Okay, so hope there are no lot of questions with regard to that. So these are my recommended hardware settings if you want to get your students interact with you, right? So in the first setup in red, what you have here is, sorry, I just make this annotation and everything visible to you since I'm teaching here. Otherwise, this annotation and everything will not be seen by the other side user, right? So this is one of the setups. In fact, actually, I'm using this kind of mechanism. So I have my laptop, and every laptop is capable of connecting one additional monitor. So I have my old monitor, so I connect this laptop to the monitor. So then I have two screens. So what you see here is one of my screens that I have shared, and on the other screen, I monitor your reactions and chat window and things like that, so that it is very convenient. I don't need, so for example, if I put my chat window here, other side will not see what are the things available, and we don't have a lot of space in the screen. So therefore, when you use it, good to have like dual monitor setup. So dual monitor setup, one option is that any laptop is capable of connecting to a monitor. And then the second option that you can go for is if you have two computers, it could be two laptops, or it could be laptop and desktop. So when you have this setup, what you could do is you use one as your primary Zoom, and then you log into the same Zoom, but you don't connect audio there, so that you don't get any feedback or any issue. So from secondary window, you can monitor it. So this is what I usually do when I go to the university. So I have my office computer and my personal laptop. So from the personal laptop, I do the class, and from the office computer, I monitor this one. So in the office computer, I can monitor all these things. That's a little bit of tweak that you need to do in order to have full control over there. I will teach you what to do, right? So this is the second option that you can have. So if you don't have two computers or extra monitor, the next option, next best option you can go with, you can have your monitor and your tablet, right? So from your computer and tablet. So here you log into your computer and do your Zoom session, and secondary Zoom session you log into using the same credential. You can log into another device. So the tablet you can log in it. So from there you can monitor your chat window and whatever this counts coming from the clicking, right? Non-verbal feedback. Or else the other option is the more or less the same, but you are getting smaller screen. If you don't have a tab, you can go with your mobile phone. So most of you have mobile phones, so that you can use the mobile phone as the secondary window. So these are like kind of simple hardware setups that you can think of. But now I will show you my exact setup. Now I am using at home. So this is what you see. So this is my laptop, and this is my the secondary monitor. Now you can see here my laptop output is not really compatible with the monitor. So that is one thing that you might also experience, because now so my laptop output is called HDMI here. I'll change the color, sorry. So my output is HDMI, and my monitor input is called VGA, some very old monitor. So that I need to have a converter. So these converters are not that expensive. So I just put this convert and feed it to the monitor, so that and there is some option called extended window, so that I can have two different things in two different windows. So that is what I do. So it's exactly just like you are connecting to a project. Do you have any questions with regard to this? If you have, you can always ask questions in the chat window, right? Okay, let me continue. Right. So just to give you some idea, this is so when I have two computers, this mode. So I have my primary computer and secondary computer. So secondary computer, I just monetize by log into the Zoom session. So when I have it, so this is what you will see. Now from the background, what you from the background, what you see is basically the session that what students are seeing. And on top of that, I have overlaid my chat window and participants list, so that I can monitor these clicks. Those are the non-verbal feedbacks, and also what are the things that students are telling to the class, so that it is very convenient to have this secondary monitor. Could be an extension of your same monitor or another computer. Okay, there is a question. When I use phone as secondary, I used to hear sound clash. Yeah, that okay. That is a very basic things that could happen. Now, the reason for that is sorry. The reason is that when you have two devices, so from one device you produce your sound, and this one receives sound. Right? In the second device, also listen to this one and produce sound. So when you have mobile phone, the sound from your laptop will go and hit to the mobile phone, and then again that will come through the Zoom line and come back here. So that is how you get the feedback, right? So my suggestion is that when you use two devices, your primary device, you connect your audio, and in your secondary device, there is an option you can disconnect your audio. Now, if you look at my window, can you? Right. Okay. So you don't see the exact one. So let me show my Zoom window. Right. So in your Zoom window, there's an audio icon, right? The mic icon. So where you can disconnect your audio. So usually you connect audio from this one. There is an option called leave compute audio. So once you do that, no longer there is any connection with the audio. Right. So, so therefore, once you remove this one, then you don't have issue with the audio in the second device. Connect to two laptops. What happened to the network bandwidth? Is there any possibility to get a poor connection if we join to two? Yes. There is another question. So that question is like, if you connect using two devices, what will happen to the bandwidth? Of course, bandwidth has to be shared. That will be divided by two. But when you have decent connection, it's always both will work. And since we disconnect audio, it's only the whatever the images are being captured. So most probably it will work. And also, since you are using system from Learn, so that is free data. So I'm not sure whether it's free or not. So if it is free data, mobile phone, you can use its own data connection, and then you can use home Wi-Fi or whatever you have with the other one. Right? There is a possibility that if you use two devices, your kind of frame rate will drop. So it's basically you share the bandwidth, but if you can communicate without any issue, that means you can even go for the second one. So the bandwidth sharing will be minimal. Any other questions? Right. So the second thing, okay, there is a question: can we connect mobile device to Learn? Yes. Now the idea is that it doesn't matter which network you use, whether you're a mobile operator or some other kind of bandwidth. When you dial through the Zoom, so you are connecting to the data server in the Learn. So if you use the Learn login. So therefore, your traffic is always diverted through the data server in the Learn. So in that case, it says that we don't charge for the data in that case. I'm not sure about that, but that is what they say. And I have never experienced that anyone charge for data. So I'm just using two connections from two major internet service providers. Right, okay. Then another thing what you could do is when you do collaborative teaching, or even if you are using two devices, so you will see like one of you log into the system and the second person when you log into the system. Now here, I have two devices. I'm connecting using two devices. One is just muted, but I have not disconnected audio. Sorry, there is a question from the chat window. I'll answer for that and then come to this one. Is it possible with the Zoom app in mobile phone to? Yes, you can connect mobile Zoom through mobile app. So when you log in it, you need to use SSO, that is single sign-on login. So then they will be redirected to that learn login page. Only thing is that when they ask the URL, you need to put learn. When you need to type learn, so that you will be redirected to learn login page. So once login is successful, you will be revert back to the mobile application. Okay, so have I answered your question? Right, thank you. Right, okay. So then this is what I was discussing. Now, when you have two devices for this particular session, I'm logging to Zoom using two different connections. So this one I disconnected. This is where I have the share my screen. So now you can see I'm the host and then I have co-host. So this is another thing you need to enable in order to do very good collaborative teaching. So if you happen to have your colleagues helping you to do classes, so you can enable co-host and add them to the class, so that even if you are the one logging with two different devices, you make yourself co-host so that you have the same control. So now in this class, I have two of my teaching assistants helping with this class. So I made them also co-host, so that you can see here. So this Tevikum, he's the one really doing the recording. So that when I'm teaching, I don't need to worry about when I ask question, it takes a little bit of time. So that recording should be paused, so that he will take care of that. So after that, he will do the processing and uploading. So that is very convenient when you share your responsibilities among the co-hosts, if you can get your colleague to teach. And also we can ask, I will come to, so there are a few questions, so show how to add co-host, so that I will show you how to do that, right? So I'm coming to that. And so you can even ask your co-host to monitor the chat window if you just have one computer. So it's kind of difficult to monitor chat window and do it. So that you can ask your co-host to monitor chat window, and if there is a question, he can disturb you and read the question. And things like that you can do. And also some of the part, so as you teach, they can annotate on your screen and they can do different things. And also the same thing you can do if you don't have TAs in your class. The only available option is that if it is a longer class, like 6-hour class, so you can bring students to teach some of the sections, right? So then you need to help with them. So you make them co-host so that they can ask questions and they will see all these things coming to the responses from them. Right. So this is another session. I use collaborative teaching. So what you see here is actually my screen. So let me see. Yeah, sorry. This is not actually my screen. This is what I'm using is one of my TAs is sharing the screen and he's doing this circuit diagram drawing. So meanwhile, so as he draws, so on top of that I can annotate. So I'm writing these things. So this bad handwriting is from me. So that as he's doing this one, the same time I can do the annotation, so that my responsibility is shared, so that I don't need to worry a lot with the software. But meanwhile I can teach, okay, this is how you do, this is how you do. So by the time I finish explaining few of the components, so that, for example, if I teach them how to connect one of these to this one, so my TA will copy all these and put 8 of them. So during that time, I can do the explanation how to calculate bandwidth and everything. Right? So those are some of the things that you can do if you have your TA or your colleague, fellow lecturer is supporting you to do the teaching, so that you can have different activities and you can share the responsibility. Right. So this is what you need to do in order to enable co-host, right? So again, under settings, there is an option called co-host. If you just enable this one, co-host, so basically you get a co-host enable. What it says is allow host to add co-host. Co-host have the same in-meeting controls as the host. So that is really advantage. So that when you have 5 co-hosts, they also have the same privileges as the host, so that they can do the recording, they can monitor chat window, they can mute people in the class, they can add them into breakout rooms, they can go in different breakout rooms and so on, right? So this is just what you need to do. You just need to enable this co-host. So once you enable this co-host, then what you need to do is, for example, if you want to make this student co-host, simply you can right click and select make him co-host. So that's all you need to do, right? It's simple as that. Sorry. There are a few questions. Please also show how to add co-host through our Learn login when setting Zoom session. Okay, this is what you need to do. Once you enable this one, that is always enabled. Second question is how to activate toolbar, pen and others. Okay, I'll come to that, right? That's annotation. Yeah, sure, I'll come to that. How many co-hosts can we add? I think the limit is 50. So I have never added 50. So usually you are not getting 50 TAs to your class, right? So probably, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 will do the job. I'm not sure the number. As I remember from the web, it is 50. You can go up to 50 co-hosts. Any other questions? Right. So then I will jump to another session, breakout rooms. This was specifically asked me to do it for this session. So I'm sure most of there are a few other questions. Can we add co-host if they only have Gmail or Yahoo account? Yes, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't need to have a Learn Zoom account in order to add co-host. So as long as they are in the your conference or the meeting, so you can right click and make them co-host. No problem at all. Can we make co-host before the meeting? That you can't do, because in order to do that, there is an option that you can make alternative hosts. So for that, you need to have accounts in Learn system. So usually demonstrators and everybody is not getting accounts in the Zoom session. Can we add host when generating the link, not during the meeting? As far as I know, you can't add co-host when you generating the link. That you can't do. How to enable screen sharing for everyone? Okay, that you can do. Let me show you this. I guess you can see this one. So when you try to share, there is a up arrow. So if you click this one, there is a advanced sharing option. So from here, you can select different ones. So it's like who can share, only host or all participants. So if you put all participants, so everyone can share the screen. So for this class, I just change it to only host. There is no option like co-host in Learn. Only host is available for me. Yes, the co-host is by default, co-host is not available. You need to enable it from the settings. So before creating a class, you need to enable this one. So once you enable this co-host, so under settings, you need to go there and do enable co-host. Right? So this one, you need to enable it. So once you do that, then you are getting co-host. Okay, so when I receive the questions, I will read and answer them, right? The question is that there is no option like co-host in Learn, only host is available for me. So the answer is that you need to enable co-host, otherwise that option is not enabled by default. Any other questions? That's another question. Can co-host launch the meeting without the host? No, because there is no way that there is a co-host. By default, generally you need to start the class in order to add co-host. Can you assign breakout rooms before we start the session? Yes, you can, but only catch is that they need to have Zoom accounts. If they don't have Zoom accounts, you can't pre-assign breakout rooms. What does it mean by the option multiple participants can share the screen simultaneously? What is its use? Okay, that is very good question. So this is regarding the sharing, right? So in the sharing screen, the question is all about this diagram. So multiple participants can share simultaneously, right? So what's the meaning, use of that? So I have used this one, for example, sometimes when you want to monitor your student's computer, for example, there is a bug in their computer, we need to fix it, right? So then if two of us are there, one can look at one screen and the others can look at the other screen. The only issue is that when you start talking, both of them are receiving your voice. Other than that, you can ask one of your students to share Ikran, and from the top, you can select which screen you need to see. So like if 5 of them are sharing screens, you can look at one of their screens. Okay, breakout room is not possible under private Zoom link. Well, I'm not sure about that. It depends on the subscription you have. So most probably free one you might not have, but otherwise even private one or the one from the Learn, it's kind of on-premises deployment. But when we click join at any time, they can join the session before I start. Yes, yes. When you there's a comment when we click join at any time, they can join the session before I start. Yes, they can join the session before you start. That is true. The only issue is that there's no co-host, right? But co-host also come there and even do the sharing also if necessary. I'm not sure whether the recording can be allowed. So other than that, most of the things you can do. Okay. In multiple sharing, can several share their screen at a time? Can all them seen at a time on screen? Okay, so this is regarding multiple sharing. So if 3 of the students share their screens, you can see only one at a time. It is the same for the class. You need to select them and do it. You can't see all 3 at the same time. Where is the setting button? So okay, settings. Okay, the settings is. I will share this slide. So when you go to this learn.zoom.lk, so there is option called sign in. So once you go there, you have settings. So you need to do it from this website, learn.zoom.lk. You sign in to configure your account, then you have the settings. The same thing you need to do in the same settings. In meeting basics, you can enable co-host also. Any other questions? Right. Okay, let's go to breakout room. So most of you might have, okay, there's another question. After starting the class, if the host become disconnected, what happened? Can the co-host? Yes, yes, of course. The question is that after starting the class, if the host become disconnected, what happens? Can the co-host carry out the session? Yes, co-host can carry out the session. It is kind of random as I understand the way they assign the host. If someone is disconnected, usually, I'm not sure here. So in my experience, usually one of the co-hosts becomes the host. Otherwise, if there is a no co-host, the very first one log into the system for that particular session become the host. So when you log in back, you will become the host. Okay, there's another question. When I leave the session after giving co-host to someone else, once I come back, I become the host again automatically. Can't we change it? Okay, I don't know the answer for that. Sorry, I don't know the answer, but one thing you can do is without login to the Zoom session from Learn, you can join to the class. So in that case, probably they will not recognize you as the same person. There's another question. Can you make that person host and leave? Yes. So if you are the host, any of the others, you can make them host and leave. Yes, that is possible. Right. So let's jump to breakout rooms. So most of you are aware of what breakout rooms is, but I will just explain what it is. So the breakout rooms is like, so for example, in this particular case, we are in one Zoom session, right? So in this, there are like 199 participants in this Zoom session. But if you want to have like several individual discussions, so the one good example I can always remember is our English classes. So in English classes, you need to have like short, small group discussions always. So the teacher signs something, you go there and have small group discussions and come back to the main session. So things like that you can easily do with the breakout room. So let's assume that the black one is your main session. Then you have created 3 rooms. So you can define, I think up to 50 rooms you can go. So you can define several rooms and then take the assign some of the participants from main session to different rooms so that they rearrange and they start their own session. And similarly, room 2 also you can do the same, and room 3 also you can do the same. So once they inside the room, it's like a separate Zoom session, so that they will do their business within the rooms, and there's no any interaction between the main session and those rooms, and also in between rooms also there is no any interaction. Then you have this the host or your co-host. There is an option, you can always go and join any of these class, and also you can switch these students from this one class to the other. You can do anything basically based on your configuration. There are a few questions with regard to co-host and host, so I will answer them soon after finishing this session. Okay. So this is so the breakout rooms. Sometimes those are not enabled by default, so you need to enable breakout rooms also from the settings. So there is option breakout room, so that you need to enable this one. Right. And also when you are doing the scheduling also, you can allow breakout rooms, but only thing is that they need to have the accounts, Zoom accounts, otherwise pre-assign will not work, right? Right. So this is, if you have enabled breakout rooms, this is how you see, you will see this kind of icon with 4 squares. Then you can click it and start the breakout rooms. So there are a few questions with regard to breakout rooms. Can we monitor the discussion in the breakout room? How to join one room and move? Okay, yes, we can monitor discussion, but we need to go inside the room and monitor it. So there is a way to join and jump out from the breakout room. So I will teach you how to do that. That's another question. Breakout rooms. Breakout rooms also. Student breakout rooms also student sheet. When try to go to the breakout rooms, no one answers. I'm puzzled by this. Yes, that happens. So the breakout rooms also student sheet. When I try to go to the breakout rooms, no one answer. I'm puzzled. Okay, so usually that might happen. So especially if it is a large class, so most probably students might start not talking to you. So in that case, it's kind of difficult to handle. But only thing is that you can provide them with some kind of reward, right? So if discussion starts, I will give you 0.5 marks for assignment A. So something like that. Yeah, that could happen, of course. The idea of breakout rooms is not to like, so if, let's say you have like 3 instructors, the teaching assistants, so then you can have like 3 different sessions for a student group. So in that case, this could be more useful. Or if you want to have a debate, so students need to have their own time to have a discussion and then come back to the original session. So something like that, you can do it. Some students always get out from the breakout room. What can I do to that? I need continuously assign them. Okay, there is a way to solve slightly that issue. I'll teach you. Are there students aware of our Yes, students. So the question is, are the students aware of our presence? Yes. When we join the session, they can see we have joined the session. How many breakout rooms? You can go up to 50 breakout rooms as far as I know. Right. So once you have enabled breakout rooms from the settings, you will be able to see this icon. So once you click it, you will get this dialog box, the dialog box on your left. So there are like three options that you can assign students to breakout rooms. So here it says create 4 breakout rooms, right? And then you have 3 different options. One is assign automatically. So everybody in the class will be assigned to one of the breakout rooms if you select the first one. Then the second one is assign manually. So that is what second dialog book is all about. And the third option is that let participants to choose the room. So you open the rooms so they can go and join any of the rooms. For example, if you are going to have a conference with parallel tracks, so this could be the option so that they can go to any of the sessions as they wish at any time, right? Okay, let's assume that we have selected the second option, assign manually. So once you create the room, this is what you see. Unfortunately, this is not exactly the same thing. I just downloaded these images. So here it says create 4 rooms, but here you have only 2 rooms, right? So let's assume that you have created only 2 rooms and you selected the option assign manually. Then you will get this kind of room, breakout room 1 and 2. You can rename these rooms if you want, like class Olu and class Manel if you want, right? So then once you go here close by assign, you will see list of names. So I just removed their names here, but you will see list of names. So you can put check marks and assign them to room 1, and then to room 2 also you can assign them and do it, right? So that is how you assign people manually. So other 2 options are like you don't need to do it. If you say assign automatically, randomly selected ones will be assigned to one room, and then randomly selected ones will assign to the other room. Okay, this one is basically once you assign your people, the students to the room. This one is slightly different from this one. Sorry about that. So here you have like 4 different rooms. So once you assign your students there, you can see, okay, these are the students in the breakout rooms. And then you have this join icon. So for any of room, you can go click join and join to that room, so that you are in a one single session with that class. Then at any time, you can leave the room and come back. So that is the same way that you leave the Zoom session. So then you can join this room. And then there are like few nice options available with the breakout rooms. When you click this button, when you click this button in this breakout room window, there are a lot of options coming in. So once you click it, you will get this dialog box. So there you have few options, out of which I highly recommend to enable this one. This one move all participants into the breakout rooms automatically. So if you don't enable this one, they will be seeing a message, okay, shall I join the breakout room or not? So once you finish it, they have the option whether to join or not to join. So therefore, good to tick this one, so that when you assign them to the breakout room, automatically they will go to the breakout room. And this option, it's totally up to you to decide. But so once you click it, at any time, even if you have not closed the breakout room, they can jump to the main session at any time. Then the third option is that a breakout room, if you want to make or the closed breakout room automatically after some time period, you can assign it. So let's say if it is a group discussion, if you assign 15 minutes, you just put 15. And then having the last option, before 1 minute time, they will be informed. Everybody in the room will be informed, okay, the room will be closed in 30 seconds. So hurry up and finish everything, right? So those are the different options available. So these options are available when you try to create breakout rooms. There is option, shall we, there's a question, shall we have 5-minute session break? Okay, she told that to me. Yeah, so the lesson break is that you change the activity from time to time, right? Okay. Your attention is diminishing. In fact, this is the last slide actually I have, so we are almost at the end for this session. See. Right, okay. So that is all about breakout room. So I will take some questions if you have anything about the breakout room. There is a question, how do I share my screen to all breakout rooms? That is not possible. So you can't share your screen to everybody in every breakout room. So you need to join that class and share it. So that is the only option. So those are like individual sessions. You can't share one screen to all breakout rooms. That is not possible. Can we share screen when they are in breakout rooms? Can I share different screen to each breakout room? No, you can't share different screen to different breakout rooms. So this is how it works. So if you are, let's say you have like 4 different breakout rooms. If you join to this room, you can share your screen only to this room. So whatever things that you do, that will be seen by the people in this room only. Others can't see it. So if you want to share your screen to next one, you jump from here to the main session and jump back to this session. Right? How do we write on the screen as you do? Yeah, that is the last session in this session, right? So I'll teach you how to do that. Can I speak to all in the breakout rooms at the same time? No, you can't speak everybody in all the breakout rooms at the same time, but if you want, you can broadcast a message, that is a chat message. Other than that, you can't speak to everyone in all the breakout rooms. You need to go and join your breakout rooms and talk to them. After joining the breakout room, I don't know how to move out. Is the option is given. Okay, so once you join the breakout room, there is an option. On your right, usually you see end button, right? So if you are in a meeting, leave meeting button is there. So in this button, if you are in the breakout room, this button changed to blue and says leave breakout room. Do the breakout rooms affect taking attendance? I'm not sure about that. That's a very good question, but I don't know the answer. Usually what I do is, because sometimes you can't take attendance even from the learn system. So usually my practice is that when I start the class, I ask students to put your name and index number. So from that I take attendance. So that is what I do. I'm sure it won't affect to the attendance, even if you use a breakout room. What about co-host? Can they share separate screen in the different breakout room? Yes, of course. Now, for example, if you have a breakout rooms, even you any of the participants in this room can share their screens if you have enabled that, right? So if you enable, anyone can, if you say in the settings, anyone can share the screen. So anyone in the room can share the screen so that everyone in that particular room, they can see it. If you have separate co-host, one advantage is that this co-host can jump to there and share the screen. And host can jump to another one. If you have another co-host, that co-host can jump and share the screen. So that option is there. The more breakout rooms, the more data use. It's true. Okay, so this is the more breakout rooms you have, the more data is used. That is theoretically it is not true, because anyway you are in one of the sessions, so that it's basically a transmission between everyone in that session and the main one. So the bandwidth usage wouldn't be a lot of there won't be a huge difference. But if you have a main session, you have, let's say, 100. If you have like 25 in the breakout room, so probably bandwidth usage will be little less. But for the overhead from the learn side, that could remain the same. But computational power will be little high. Can we allocate specific time to the group, or the time duration is already by default? No, the time duration for breakout rooms, for all the rooms, if you want, you can define your own time, or else you can manually close the rooms. So from this option, you can select that to automatically close the rooms after certain time period. But if you don't use it, you can close all the rooms. Now here it's basically assigned, but rooms have not been opened, right? So once you open the room, everybody will come. So then this button will be changed to close all rooms, so that you can close all the rooms. So then everybody will jump back to the main session. Only co-host? No. If you have enabled screen sharing to everyone from this screen share button in the breakout room, anyone in that room can share your screen to anyone in that, for anyone in that room. Right? Not only co-host, anyone in the room can share. Only thing is that you need to select this screen sharing button. From here, you need to select who can share. You need to put all participants, so that anyone in the room you can share it. Right? So this comes under sharing setting. Can I use flip chart while students are in breakout rooms? I'm not getting your question. The flip chart, in the sense that, is it a whiteboard here? Or? Sorry, I don't have, I didn't get this question. So the question is, can I use flip chart while students are in the breakout rooms?
Yes, I'm Suranmari. I'm the person who put it. That is, while in the breakout rooms, while the students are in the breakout room, like now I listen to what they say, and if there are like mistakes, can I use the flip chart or something like that?
Whiteboard you can use. Whiteboard is there, you can use it. We will come to that session, but it's the same. So you jump there and you can open whiteboard and do it. Or if they are doing the presentation, you can even write on the presentation. So that is also possible.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Then we use Google Forms to record the attendance. Just wanted to show. Okay, that's another way to get things done. So there's a lot of different options. So in order to get attendance, one option is that Google Sheet, Google Form, you can use it. You can share the link in the class so that they will put the attendance. So it's coming in really very handy, organized way. Thank you. How to define the host, the person who creates the link or who starts the meeting. Host is the person who creates the link. You can add alternative hosts when you are creating it, but alternative hosts should have to have learn Zoom account. Can you do a demonstration of breakout rooms here? Okay, at the end of the class, I will do it, right? Because I'm not sure whether everybody will be able to come back to the main session. I'll do that. When I play a video, example, YouTube Go saved one during my lectures and share it with my class, they can't hear the sound clearly as I hear it. I recognize this later when I listen to my recording session. If there a way to can make them hear YouTube other videos clearly at the time. Yes, there is a way that that option is, let me see whether I can. So this is my application, right? Zoom application. So here you have settings. You click settings. These are not web settings, it's settings from the application, right? Under audio, there are few options. So in advanced, right. So there is an option called show in meeting option to turn on original sound. Right. So if you enable this one, you can even broadcast stereo one so that you will get different control in your control bar, right? So, so I'm answering the question. There is a requirement that you need to broadcast high quality audio. So there is an option, this one, if you select this one, show in meeting option, turn on original sound, that button will appear. So once you click it, the original sounds will be broadcasted. Otherwise, what you are hearing is not exactly my sound. It's a compressed sound, because just to preserve the bandwidth. Right? So in the event that you need to do that, the option is here, so that you can find it from here, from the Zoom application under settings, under audio, the option is available, show in meeting option, turn on original sound. So once you do that, you get really nice audio. And another thing is that when you are sharing some video file on your computer, this option most probably you have not shared. So you need to tick this on, right? Share sound. So when you do this one, so that is from these three dots, from that you can enable this one, share sound, so that whatever the sound coming from your computer, even the errors and everything, that will be broadcasted to the other end. So that could be the issue. So I'm just answering one of the participants' question. Right. Right, okay, yeah, okay. So two things. So if you want to, yeah, thank you. So maybe when is sharing the video, others. One is sharing video on the share screen on the left side. That's it. There is a comment, I didn't get it. Sorry. There were few questions with regard to co-host. So can you post them also again? So the questions that I haven't answered, there is a few. How can we use annotation to underline or circle something in our focus? Should we buy a word pack? Yeah, I'll come to that. Annotations, I'll come to that, right? Right. So shall I jump to the last section? Right. So if you have any question, you can post them to the chat window, right? So I'm jumping to the last section. This is how to use annotation and whiteboard. So this is one of the interesting things that you can easily do with Zoom. And if you are teaching it in the class, face-to-face, most of the time these features are not available. Of course, with PowerPoint, you have some kind of control, but if you're using PDF files for your presentation, you don't have that option, right? So there are few different hardware that you can do if you want to do annotation. The one option is you can use pen tablets like this. So here you don't have any screen. You have, it's like your touchpad in your laptop, but it's a larger one, comes with a pen. And then you have pen displays. So you have a pen and also the same screen you can share with that. So if you want to draw anything, you just draw it on top of that, right? So that is very easy when you have pen displays. And then if you have a fancy phone with stylus, you can host your Zoom session and do the annotation on top of that. And also if you have a iPad, of course, with Apple Pencil, you can write it, very expensive stuff. And also if you have convertible like laptops, you can convert into tab and different things, comes with a stylus, which has very fine point, you can use it. Now, the devices at the top, those are not computers, you need to connect them to the computer. Devices at bottom, those are by themselves, they can do the session and kind of expensive. And so these pen displays, there's no any learning curve. You just connect this one and configure the software. You are ready to go. You can just write it just like you are writing in any board. So your screen, on top of the screen, you can write anything. And these pen tablets, that's a very slight learning curve. You just need to learn how to do that. So at the moment, I'm using actually this kind of pen tablet. Right? So these are the two things. So if you have a pen tablet, it looks like this. You don't have a screen. So this one is actually Bluetooth one. My one, I have a cable connecting to the USB like this. Right? So this is a pen display. You can see the screen is shared over here. You can write on top of the screen. So let me slightly discuss this pros and cons about the pen tablet. So pen tablet, one main advantage is the small form factor. So my one is about like 5 inch to 8 inch, smaller than the exercise book. So it's very compact. So I can just pack my pen here and use it. And they are kind of cheaper. And only disadvantage is that you need to learn how to use it. It will take maybe half an hour or 1 hour to learn it. It takes a bit of time to get familiar with that. Some people just learn really fast. Some can't learn it really fast. Right? So the device that I'm using is Wacom Intuos, and there's another counterpart from China. It's Eon. So this is just a screenshot from Daras. So Eon, like you have a lot of options, and you can see the prices, like, so they vary depending on the size and features available. And if you want to buy a pen tablet, there are a few main things that you need to consider. One thing is that the pen has to be battery free one. So there are pens comes with battery. So when you put battery, pen is kind of heavier, right? So then it's kind of difficult to write it. So other than that, I mean, any of these will work or they do your job. There are different options available, right? So this is just from Daras, and for Wacom, the same kind of tablet could be like double the price from Eon one. If it is like 10,000, the cheapest one from Wacom Sri Lanka, you buy directly from the agents, that could be about 20,000 to 21,000 or something like that. It's a Japanese brand and it's a Chinese one, right? Right. So there are a few questions. What about the palm rejection in these devices? Okay, so these devices, the pens, basically, if you consider this this tablet, this pen is basically inductive one. It's not capacitive or resistive touch one. So unless you bring the pen here, it won't detect it. So that no issue with the palm rejection. It's not sensitive to the capacitance variation. It's sensitive to the inductance variation. So that unless you bring on top of this one, it won't detect. Your fingers will not be work as a touchpad. So then no issue with the palm rejection. What is the approximate cost of pen displays? Okay, pen displays are a little bit expensive, so you can easily Google it. Okay, site is down. As far as I remember, today morning I just checked their website. There was a kind of Wacom Sri Lanka, their website. There's a one with one costs about 140. They say it's a deal. It's basically, if you get this one, it is really bulky. You need to have separate power supply. You need to connect your display port, and then you need to connect USB and power, right? 3 things you need to connect in order to use pen display. So probably you can just Google it and get it done. So as I remember, it was like 140. That was one of the deals. So 161, they are selling it 140. Pen tablet, good ones, nearly 10,000 rupees. Yeah, of course, you have seen that, right? Daras, you can buy it, and Daras and Takas.lk, they are the online partners for Wacom, and Daras, they have even ones also. Okay, so if you have a computer with touch screen, that will not really do the job, because touch screen computers, mostly they are capacitive touch screen, so that you can't draw fine lines, but still you can do something, but it's not as easy as using a pen tablet. So my recommendation is that good to have a pen tablet if you want to do real teaching while writing. Okay, so you have seen that I have enabled this one just to show you when you enable this annotation one, right? So this annotation toolbar. Okay, so this is my annotation toolbar, right? So this toolbar is normally not visible, right? So this toolbar is normally not visible. There are a lot of tools available. So one is draw tool. So when you click draw tool, there are different options. So the pencil option is this one. Then you have straight lines, arrows, then rectangles, filled rectangles. And so this one is basically a rectangle but transparent. So if I draw something, it's transparent, right? So then under stamp, you can go with these check marks, hearts, and different things. And then you have spotlight. So if I put spotlight, I can show you what. Right? So you get a kind of laser pointer, and also you have spotlight with arrow. This is kind of interesting if you want to show different places. And in fact, you also can show different places in my screen. If you go to this annotation, and you will get this annotation, and from there you can do anything to my screen. Then if I want to erase certain things, that I can do it. So you see, like anyone can do it, basically anything to my screen. So that I can control, of course. Then you can change the color, do different things. with the mouse also you can do up to a certain level, but you don't have good control, right? I find OneNote tool more convenient. Kindly let us know whether you prefer Zoom annotation to OneNote. OneNote the first, OneNote that I can have a PDF. Yeah. Right. Okay, so shall I continue? So once you have this one, if you want, there are options you can delete, right? So you look at my mouse pointer here. When I go to this dustbin, I have clear all drawings, clear my drawing, clear viewer's drawing. So I can keep my drawing and clear everything that you have drawn. If I want, you can draw it again, right? There is one kind of comment. I find OneNote tool more convenient. Kindly let us know whether you prefer Zoom annotation to OneNote. One of the pros of OneNote is that I can have a nice PDF lecture note at the end. Okay, thanks bringing that. The OneNote is a tool comes with Microsoft. So today, actually, I'm lucky to have a Windows computer, so I just borrow it from one of my friends. Usually, I use Linux system so that I don't get OneNote, the real version. So I don't have a lot of experience, but I have seen most of my colleagues use OneNote. One advantage with OneNote, as you mentioned here, if you are writing everything on that document, you get finally this one. But personally, I prefer Zoom annotation because my documents are basically, when I don't have PowerPoint, I don't use OpenOffice, I use Beamer, that is latex package. From that I generate PDF. So on top of the PDF, I can annotate it. I find it very easy to do it. And also I use OpenBoard, which is also a really nice tool to do that. But with Microsoft tools, OneNote is one of the leading tools, and people have been used this one for many years. So I'm sure it's a very mature tool. And also there's a Microsoft Whiteboard that is also kind of interesting tool. If you don't have Office, you can still use Whiteboard. Okay, there's a question, how do we control annotation, students annotation? Okay. So if somebody is annotating, you can see the name, right? But still you can control it. There is a can you see like my screen on top? When I go to these triple dots, I can have option called disable annotation for others. So if I do that, others can't annotate. So you can control it. Okay, so there is another comment. I don't have the spotlight mark in my annotation bar. How can I get it? Actually, as the users, you don't get spotlight. Instead of that, you are only getting the arrow, right? So that is only the host is getting this one, the spotlight. Apart from that, everything else is getting. You are getting everything. So it's not actually host. The one who is sharing the screen is getting the spotlight. How to activate annotation bar in the meeting. Okay, so by default it is coming on top. So you need to click this. So you will see like few controls top there. Annotation is one of them. Once you click it, you will see my one. It appears here. Right? I can put it on top of this one, so I can enable and disable. Okay, so I'll continue. So once another thing is that in Zoom, what you have is the transparent layer. It doesn't matter what is in the background. Your annotation now, if I go to a white screen with PowerPoint, right? Still, all the annotations are there. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. So you can see like all the annotations are there. Even if I change the slide, everything will be there. So if I want, I can clear them. So I'll clear all drawings. Right. Right. So then this is another thing that I would like to bring your attention when it comes to sharing screen. Right. So most of the time, so this happens especially when I'm looking at my student screens, they share only a particular one. So if I ask to share their presentation, so most probably they will share only this one. Once you do that, if they navigate to another one, I can't see it. So especially if you are running a simulation, if you want to look at the code and the simulation, probably the pop-up windows that you will not see. So in that case, the best option is to share the screen. Now, since I have only, so when I'm taking this screenshot, I had only one monitor. If I am having two monitors, I'm getting two of these, screen 1 and screen 2, so that you share everything, so that it is guaranteed that what you see in the screen is seen by the audience. So that is very convenient, right? So I just want to bring that in. And also if you just share a screen, one of the screens, most probably your annotation will not be seen by the others. Right? That is also another issue. Right? So then there is another option called whiteboard. So let me, so when you try to share the screen, you can share the whiteboard. Let me share the whiteboard. So this is what you will see if whiteboard is shared, right? So it's a whiteboard. So all the annotations are there. You can use annotations, and you can use whatever you want to do. Any of these tools, you can use them. Okay, so right, okay, my tool is not changing due to some reason. I don't know what it is. Right. So there, so it is basically a whiteboard. You can write anything. The one main advantage that you have with the whiteboard is that over here. So if you look at here, there is a kind of new button. So when I do it, I'm getting new screen so that I can write something over here. Then I can get another new one. So maybe I'll write in red. Right. Then over here, I'm getting navigation buttons now. So since I have 3 different slides, I can go back if I want. And also from this one, I can save these, whatever the things I write over here, I can save them as PDF or image file. Here it is PNG or PDF.
We can't see.
My shared screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now you can see, right?
Yes.
Sorry. It was like yellow. I didn't notice. Yeah. Sorry. So you can write anything. So what I mentioned here is that over here, there is a new button. When you press that, you are getting new screen. So let me change the color and write something. So it's green. I'm taking another new one. Change color to purple maybe. Right. So then I'm getting navigations here. I'm not sure whether you are also getting the navigation. So I can navigate. So those slides, you can keep it, and also you can save it from here. There is a save options. Either you can save it as PNG or PDF. So it's the same tools that you can use. Only difference is that you are getting a whiteboard as a background. So that is the main difference that you see. Right. So back to my presentation. So remember that this toolbar, so I specifically enable this one for this class. Otherwise, this is not really showing to the audience. Right. So if you don't have this option, these are like other alternative methods that you can use. So this is one option. So you can see it's a stack of books, and always like religious books are the largest one. You can get it right. Good not to show the names. So when you have stack, you can just push your phone inside, and then you can write on the papers. Right? So that is one option. You can host your Zoom session and do it. So it always works. So I will show you one example. And this one I just got from the web. This is I think high school teacher from India. So you see this is some glass plate from the refrigerator. Very nice mechanism. You put your phone there, then you write it at the bottom. So it's a nice stand. So this one works well. With the Zoom, you can do it. So I can show you one of the recordings that I did with this. Yeah, with my mobile phone, right? So
it's an interesting question. It's again interesting question. Now, part 2 talking about what are the conditions that have to be satisfied with R and RL.
right. So that one you might notice that it's very clear because the camera in the mobile phones are far more better than what you can find in the this. So you didn't see it? Okay, now it's fine. Okay. So the previous comment, right? So the camera in mobile phones are far more better than what you find in the computers, built-in cameras. So if you want to use camera, so there is a nice video that Professor Heva Gamage from UCSC director, he showed me. What he suggests is that your laptop, you focus on the whiteboard, and on that you can write it as usually you do in the class. So that is also one of the methods. My personal belief is that the camera in the mobile phones are far more better than whatever the good computer you have. You don't get good camera on that. Okay, so we are reaching to the end. So if you have any other questions, we can ask them. There's a few questions coming in. There is some question when I download and set a virtual background after the session, it get disappeared, and Zoom asks to download the virtual background each time start a new session, and wants to see the virtual background. Is there a way to keep them fixed? I mean, once downloaded, to keep them always. I don't have experience with the virtual background, so so if you add your own background, so most probably that will be there, right? So the option, what happens is that Zoom get updated. So there are like frequent updates received recently. That could be the reason Zoom is asking to download that particular module. I'm not sure about that, sorry. How to set the background screen while presenting. How to set the background screen while, okay. So if you have PowerPoint, how to set PowerPoint as a background? I think that is the question. So that you can do it if you go to a share screen. Do you see my screen share? Like the secondary screen?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to advanced, there is option PowerPoint as a virtual background. So that on top of PowerPoint, you can appear. So that is what you can do.
Where is that option? Can you please repeat it?
When you try to share the screen, as usual, if you select this share screen green button, you are usually landed in this basic one. You need to go to the advanced options. So where you have the PowerPoint as a virtual background. why I often log out from the Zoom interface when I do screen sharing. It is a technical problem. So there is a question why I often log out from the Zoom interface when I do screen sharing. It's a technical problem. I'm not sure. I have never experienced that. So most probably, if you are using like your connection is kind of low bandwidth one, probably you might experience that. I don't know the answer for that. Sorry. When I'm recording a session, if any mic is muted, it will be recorded. Mic is muted. So there is a question, when I'm recording a session, if my mic is muted, will it record the background sound? No, it will not record the background sound. If your mic is muted, nothing will be recorded. Second one, kindly repeat how to make the PowerPoint as a background. So for this one, okay, let me bring the other screen. So here, this is the share screen button, right? The green one. So once you do that, usually we land to this page. It is called the basic one. And there is an option, you can select advanced one. And there you can use the option, the first one, PowerPoint as a virtual background.